All right, friends, let's begin to find our places. If you can begin to find your seat. And thank you so much. All right. The Lord be with you. So if we can find our places, that would be great. Welcome back to this continuation of our annual conference. Uh, every time I hear a young person give a message like we heard this morning, it gives me a lot of hope. Lets me know that the church is well. And so I appreciate Sister Kathy for the way she led us this morning and the young man who sang, oh my goodness. Yeah. So we thank you for that. Just a couple of preliminary things I'd like to say to you before we get started with our agenda. First of all, I want to say one of the things that I've learned since being in South Carolina is that you are very passionate about, that may be an understatement, but you are very passionate. And as I prayed about your passion, I've told you several times that my grandma Gladys always plays in my head. And I could hear her whispering in the back of my mind, now, passion doesn't give you the right to be disrespectful. Passion does not give you the right to be arrogant. And so I know it gets frustrating, but I'm going to ask you again to please, we're in holy conferencing. And the way we present and the way we share is going to be important. And so I prayed about that thing last night because my grandma Gladys started rising up in me. But I'm going to ask you to please to do that. And that's respect to everybody that's in this building. That's respect to the leaders up here who are trying to lead. One of the ways that I'm going to ask that we be able to help to do that, this room is not good acoustically. I guess that's the way you say that. And so sometimes it's very hard to hear because it's muffled. And so we're going to ask you to help us with that. The other way that you could help us with this, with our process for the rest of the day is this. When you get up to speak, please say your name. And if there's a motion of for or against, begin your conversation by, I am against this. It'll give us a better way that we can count. Because I don't want to have to call anybody out of order where we are at against, and you get up and you start talking for. I'm going to ask you to have patience with us as we lead this time. One of the best things I ever went to when I got here was the Summit on the Black Church. And we had a comedian, and he would say these things and use these phrases. And one of them that I really enjoyed was, what you not gonna do. What you're not gonna do is hold my refrigerator open and run up my light bill. What you're not gonna do is keep running in and out of my house, letting my cold air out. And so what we're not going to do is be disrespectful to each other. There's an old saying that it's easier to put out a fire than it is to light wet wood. But passion can also burn up everything. So I'm going to ask you I'm not asking you to downplay your passion. And what I hope you hear me say, I hope you're not hearing your bishop scolding you about anything. If that was the case, this would be a different conversation. But I'm just saying, let's do this so that the seeds we plant will come up glorious. Can we do that today? All right, you covenant to be that with me? Okay, so, and that's what we're going to do. So when you get up to speak, and help us out, because again, the room is muffled. So when we're dealing with something and somebody over here shouting, hey, hey, me, or going like this, you look like you're trying to land a plane or something. And so please be patient with us, and please don't make your way to the mic till we recognize you and you've raised your card. That would help us out a great deal. You did wonderful on yesterday, and I want to acknowledge that as well. We got through our agenda ahead of schedule. And so let's see if we can keep that one going. I guess you say, now we can't, you done talked so much. but maybe we can keep this going. And so at this time, we are going to begin our time together with a video from UMCOR.
In places all around the world, disaster strikes. Families struggle. Homes and livelihoods are destroyed. Hope is almost lost. And then, by the grace of God and through the support of people like you, the United Methodist Committee on Relief, UMCOR, provides hope and healing to communities devastated by disasters. Part of the General Board of Global Ministries, UMCOR is the humanitarian relief arm of the United Methodist Church. Working in the U.S. and in countries around the world, UMCOR provides help when disasters strike and seeks to improve the well-being of displaced peoples, migrants, and refugees. As followers of Christ, we are called to protect the vulnerable, support the weak, and comfort those who mourn. To learn more about UMCOR's work in the world, visit umcor.org.
And friends, as we know all around us, as the young lady alluded to in her message for us this morning in the devotion, that we have disasters going on everywhere. And I mean, it seems like they're striking different and in places we never thought. Hurricanes going all the way up into the mountains, flooding and tornadoes all around us. And so we ask you to support UMCOR as you can. I know, and we have a disaster preparedness team in our conference. And so we want you to help as much as you can when you see the need, and ask God to guide you. And how can I help? How can I help? How can we help as an annual conference when those things happen? It's another beauty of the connectional system. When we had our hurricanes and flooding, other annual conferences helped us. And we've helped other annual conferences. And that's the beauty of what it means to be a connectional church. The other beauty of what it means to be a United Methodist Church is that it's global. Now, you've helped a lot of people, you've built a lot of stuff. And today we're going to hear a report from Africa University, your university, because of your generosity and your connection. And so we're going to ask Brother Sally, and I see Joseph coming with him. And let's give them a hand as they come and share with us about our university in Africa.
Grace and peace to you all in the blessed name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the one who's able to keep us from falling. Bishop Fairley, Mrs. Bishop Dawn.
Hey, she got that name at the BMCR dinner too last night, Mrs. Bishop.
Brother Arant, members of the cabinet, clergy and lay members of this annual conference. Africa University is the school of dreams in the valley of hope. If you're having a hope crisis, come with us for a few minutes. I just arrived back in the United States. We had a wonderful weekend at the university. And where we work in Zimbabwe, it is said you're only as good as your home people think you are, Bishop. It's good to be back home. Mrs. Josepha Bethay Wall is our director of plan giving in the Africa University Development Office in Nashville, Tennessee. Step up. She's back home. So we thank you for what you have done and what you are doing for your Africa University located at Old Mutare, Zimbabwe. The annual conference that has given the most in resources and human infrastructure is the South Carolina Annual Conference. Give yourselves a big round of applause. We have a brief PowerPoint that proves what I just said. And we will go through that PowerPoint now. Let's go to the first slide. And it says, thank you, South Carolina United Methodist, for seeing the possibilities of seed in Africa University and nurturing its growth with steadfast advocacy, faithfulness, and generosity. Let's go to the next slide. This slide encourages all of us to give as the Lord has blessed us to give to Africa University. Next slide. South Carolina invested 100% of the asking to the Africa University Fund. South Carolina was one of 17 annual conferences at 100% or higher for the Africa University Fund in 2024. Give yourselves another round of applause. Let me say that another way. South Carolina now leads all annual conferences in the world in consistent giving of 100% to the Africa University Fund. That's right. We don't have to wait until tomorrow to change the world. We can do it today. And you're doing it when you give to Africa University. There are keystone congregations in this annual conference. Bethany United Methodist Church, Somerville, provides support for Natasha Muwani from Zimbabwe. Natasha is majoring in international relations. She'll be a senior next year. And what that means is Bethany Church, Somerville, South Carolina, provided 100% of her graduation. Bishop just mentioned the Carolina Black Pastors Retreat. South Carolina supports the Carolina Black Clergy Leaders Bishop Tracy S. Malone Scholarship. The initiative is helping Ruth Kamwanya earn a bachelor's degree of business studies and pursue a future beyond the refugee camp where she lives in Zimbabwe. She comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and all of her life, her existence has been in the Tangangora refugee camp, located less than 20 miles from the Africa University campus. Now, the Carolina Black Clergy Retreat decided last year that they would provide a $7,000 scholarship for her. So she now lives on the Africa University campus, but her mother and two sisters are still in the refugee camp. Last month, in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the Carolina Black Clergy Retreat provided enough money, with Bishop Fairley and Mrs. Bishop leading the way, to fund Ruth's education for another 3 years. She's in her first year. Now, when you take a child out of a refugee camp and give them a quality higher education, then that child reaches back and brings the family from the refugee camp. Thank you, Carolina Black Pastors Retreat, and all of you who provided to this fund for not only saving Ruth's life, but her family's life. Let's go to slide number 10. And it's the 31st graduation ceremony took place this Saturday. The class of 2025 graduated 620 students. I told you, if you're having a hope crisis today, follow me. I only have good news. Next slide. Bishop, Mrs. Bishop, look at this picture. Any Wesley Seminary graduates in the house? Here's a collaboration that our bishop helped start before COVID. They were on campus and brought a team from Kentucky and were introduced to the program that I'm telling you about now. These are 10 military officers who just finished a degree with Africa University and Wesley Seminary, the first cohort of military officers from 4 countries. They now have a Doctor of Ministry degree bestowed upon them through Wesley and Africa University Saturday, the first of its kind on the continent of Africa, a D-Min in military chaplaincy. You helped start this. You helped start this. When you were the Bishop of Kentucky, you provided a $10,000, we're talking about seeds, seed gift to start this program, and now it's the first of its kind. military officers from Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana, and Malawi. Thank you, Bishop. God bless you. Next slide, please. Any Claflin grads in the house? Okay. These 4 students are the first of their kind in the world to earn a degree in biotechnology and climate change, a master's degree, joint program, Africa University and Claflin University, Orangeburg, South Carolina. There were 5 persons in that degree program that graduated in May. 4 of them are from Africa University from 4 different countries. The first degree of its kind in the world in biotechnology and climate change. Next slide. I think that's worth a hand. Is Dr. Gloria McCutcheon in the house today? If she is, oh, there she is right here. She's the professor at Claflin who helped Vision Institute and helped these 5 students to graduate, 4 of them from Africa University. Thank you, Dr. McCutcheon and Dr. Warmack. Next slide, please. Go back to the Africa University Sunday. Africa University Sunday at Edisto Falk United Methodist Church. Bishop Fairley will preach. Next slide. It's the prelude to the West Path Bishop Leonard Fairley Golf Tournament that will be held at the Orangeburg Country Club.
And I can't swing a club a lick.
That's all right. That's all right. Other things happen at this golf tournament. See, the host district superintendent is shaking his head right there. Reverend Ken Nelson. There are other things that happen there also. Next slide. You need to sign up. If you can't play, come and be with us anyway. A lot of us can't play. But we support the golf tournament. Have you ever been to Zimbabwe? That's the first place prize. First place prize, free, all expenses paid, Mel Arant to Southern Africa to see Africa University, Victoria Falls, Johannesburg, Cape Town, all of that. Join us 29 September for the Leonard Fairley Golf Tournament for Africa University at the Orangeburg Country Club. Next slide. The core business of Africa University is to educate future leaders for the continent of Africa in a Christian environment. That's what we do. That's who we are. Next slide. How can you help? Continue to do what you're doing. All of the things that you have excelled in South Carolina, that's what we ask people to do. And it's really good when you have an annual conference that does it without us having to ask so much. Next slide. Now, there's a slide in there that was missed. I have to go back. Please go to slide 9. Slide 9. New solar power plant installed on campus. That happened on Friday. until Thursday of last week, Africa University provided $11,000 in fuel per month for generators when the electricity went out. If you combine the electric bill and the generator bills, somewhere in the neighborhood of $25,000 a month for power. As of Friday, all of our power comes from God. All of the Africa University power. Africa University is now operating on all solar power 24/7. The power comes from the sun, and that's God. The economic impact of that solar plant that we commissioned on Friday is $300,000 back into the Africa University coffers, and it was self-funded by Africa University, Tennessee. Let's go to the next slide. Let's go to the next slide. Thank you for this time. The last one, the one with the umbrella. And there you go. Thank you so much, Bishop and Mrs. Bishop. That picture was taken on the campus of Africa University when they were there in 2019. They are under the umbrella of Africa University. I have one more picture I want to show you. Let's go to that sold picture that you see in the front are solar panels, but in the back is a cross and flame. Now that cross and flame was a gift in 1994 from Galloway United Methodist Church, Jackson, Mississippi. Now, when I think about Galloway, I have all kinds of emotions. But this emotion, I took that picture Friday afternoon at the dedication of the solar plant. And we have mountains on the campus of Africa University. Anybody who's been there can tell you that. But that cross is located at the highest peak of the campus. And it's no accident that we live under the cross and flame. We will forever be a United Methodist related institution. And it's no accident, South Carolina, that we built a solar plant immediately under the cross and flame of the United Methodist Church. Thank you for what you do for the School of Dreams in the Valley of Hope. God bless you. Thank you for this time.
Right, thank you,
Bishop,
Jim. Yeah.
Mel.
Thank you.
Bless you. How are you? Side hug.
Now I'm going to tell you something. Every church needs a Jim Sally in it. Now, this is a man who not too long ago got off a plane. I'd hate to hear him when he's rested. Now, I'm telling you now, that brother got a passion. And we're grateful for him. We're grateful that he's ours. You see what kind of seed can happen? Now, he learned something about how to do good for others from South Carolina United Methodist. And what a gift. Friends, I want to take a moment to share with you that we've had somebody have a serious fall on their escalators. Helene Cargill from Trentham Road, I think that's how you say her name. And I think that EMS is coming. if they're not already here. And so we're going to just pause right now and say a word of prayer for her. And I'm going to ask Brother Quick if you would lead us in a prayer. He had his head already down like he was praying, so I say, come on and lead us. And this is for this sister. She just had a fall on the escalator, brother. Thank you, Brother Martin.
Let's just take 30 seconds of silence and I'll lead into the prayer. Almighty and gracious Lord, we just come before you right now, God, and we stand on behalf of the sister that has fallen, God. We know, Lord, that you knew all about it before it happened. So now, God, we ask that you would just touch her from the top of her head to the bottom of her feet. Pray, God, for every person that will come in contact with her, the person that the EMS worker, the person that's going to drive that vehicle, the persons that will meet her at the hospital. Because, God, we know that you'll be there first, God. And so receive her, Lord, and begin this healing process. We just come now in the strong name of Jesus, believing, God, that she's already healed. The loving God that we know, God, we know you to be the ultimate caretaker. So as we all are gathered here right now, we just say amen and we consider it done. Amen.
Thank you, Brother Martin, for leading us in prayer, brother. Thank you so much. It's one of the best things we do as Christians, is to pray for one another. At this time, we're going to have the report of the Commission on Equitable Compensation. I'm sorry that y'all got to come behind Jim Sally, but come on anyway.
Let's move that up a little bit. I too am sorry that I have to follow Jim Sally. Mostly because I'm going to be very distracted, wondering if I've played on that Orangeburg golf course enough times to win that trip to Zimbabwe. It is good to be with y'all this morning. Good morning, UMCSC. That was actually pretty good. I was totally ready to ask y'all to do that again. I worked in child care and after school care in a past life, and so it's normal to have to repeat that. But let's try one more time. Let's see if we can get some energy in the room. Make sure y'all don't need a stretch break. Good morning, UMCSC. Oh, that felt good. Well, it is wonderful to be with y'all today. I am John Hoyne. I am your chair of the Commission on Equitable Compensation. Wayne, do you want to come up and introduce yourself? Why are you standing so far back?
I'm Wayne Hester. I work in the Orangeburg District Office as Reverend Ken Nelson's administrative assistant, and I'm the vice chair for the Equitable Compensation Commission.
Like I said, it's good to be with y'all this morning. This, I expect, will be a short report. I just want to say one, thank you to everyone. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you to our UMCSC leadership. Thank you to the folks who are on the commission who have done the hard work that they do. I want to recognize that y'all have taken time out on a regular basis to help us navigate often difficult and complex decisions. We strive to work as the Equitable Compensation Commission to support the folks who are doing the work of ministry in South Carolina to make and shape disciples of Jesus Christ. Our aim is to make sure that all of our pastors are adequately supported, especially those who find themselves in contexts that may find it difficult to support full-time clergy. And so with that in mind, we have a couple of quick recommendations that the conference will be acting on. The Commission on Equitable Compensation is recommending a cost of living increase of 2.5% to our minimum salary in 2025. For those of y'all who have been here regularly over the past several years, you'll note that we typically do something like this. We keep a very close eye on things like the Social Security Administration, other federal recommendations, for cost of living adjustments, as well as the larger economy and on inflation, to make sure that our salaries remain adequate to support our pastors, that our salaries remain competitive with other annual conferences, and, one more time, especially to make sure that our salaries are able to support our pastors. We've also asked for budget allocation, a minimum of $325,000 from the CFNA for 2026. That is the same amount that was budgeted for 2025. We will continue to strive to make the best use of whatever funds are provided by the annual conference to help support our clergy, to support the mission of the church, and to make sure that ministry can be done anywhere in South Carolina. And so if you take away nothing from this report, just know that the funds that you provide allow ministry to happen in places where we would otherwise not be able to have a presence. CEC has always been and will continue to be good stewards with the money supplied by the conference, and your generosity is never taken lightly by our commission. We are thankful for all that you have done and all that you do, and we would love to continue to take care of our pastors. And one last note and announcement, make sure your pastors take their time off. Make sure they get the rest that they need. Everyone needs to fill up their cup again from time to time. And that is also part of the things that we lay out in the equitable compensation policy as well. All right. Dare I ask for questions or comments?
Well, first, before you get those, we're going to thank you for giving a report. And thank you for the work of this committee that helps pastors, help us to ensure that pastors can at least be compensated equitably. We're striving to do that, and so we thank you for that. So are there now questions? We're going to thank them first, then you're going to ask your questions, okay? All right. All right. Thank you. If you would affirm his report, just lift a hand. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I didn't see a card anywhere. All right. Well,
Thank y'all.
thank you. And now, friends, we move to the report of the Board of Pension and Health Benefits. And as they come, we do have a special guest from West Path. Many of you have probably already had a chance to meet him, but Jonathan, as you come to give your report, if you could introduce our guest as well. Oh, he's from South Carolina. Well, he don't need no introduction.
Good morning, I'm the Reverend Jonathan Harris, and I have the joy of chairing the Board of Pension and Health Benefits. We have with us as a special guest, Tony Prestipino, who formerly of the South Carolina Conference. And here today, on behalf of West Path, I also have up here with me the Reverend Rhett Hazelden, who is our conference benefits officer, and grateful for the work that he does day in and day out. This is my first year at annual conference as the chair of the Board of Pension and Health Benefits. This is also Rhett's first as conference benefits officer. And so I just want to take a moment to thank those whose work we have had the joy of continuing, those who have provided leadership in the past. I know I've looked out and seen the Reverend Chris Lawless, who served so faithfully and diligently as conference benefits officer the last few years. I got to see the Reverend David Anderson yesterday, who also served as CBO. And I know, I think earlier in the conference, we celebrated the licensing as a local pastor of Valerie Brooks Madden, the previous board chair. And so I thank them for their work. If you would like to, you can turn to page 49 in your conference materials to see our report. I will not actually be referring to it because I am sure you've already read it 3 or 4 times. I would also lift up to you the video that you have also probably watched several times of our report online. During our conference so far, we have been talking about planting seeds. And we have heard examples of how seeds that God has planted have been bearing fruit. And that is why we plant seeds, so that they will bear fruit and have an impact and make a difference. And I think that even in our report, that is an important thing for us to remember, because over the past few years, many of us have heard those stories about how maybe the United Methodist Connection is no longer bearing fruit, or how maybe that United Methodist Connection is even a liability to the work of local churches. And friends, it is a time to tell a different story, a new story, I think a truer story. And that is that even in the world of pensions and benefits, our United Methodist Connection is having an impact on local churches for the sake of God's work in this part of God's kingdom. You know that last year, as an annual conference, you voted to forgive more than $3.4 million in unpaid direct billing costs for 90 churches. That is the United Methodist Connection working and bearing fruit, as 90 churches were freed from that burden so that they can devote their time and energy and resources to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of this world. Day in and day out, this board provides and administers health care benefits for hundreds of clergy and their spouses in this annual conference. It administers the retirement program that provides for hundreds of retired clergy and their spouses, and that is the United Methodist Connection working. What you may not know, though, is the behind-the-scenes diligence and resourcefulness that this board has had over the last several years in trying to do that important work while keeping costs down so that more money is in the local church for the work of discipleship. You may not know, you may not realize that as recently as 2017 at annual conference, we approved together a budget that allocated $2 million to help fund some of the costs of the Board of Pension and Health Benefits. Over the past several years, through the work of the board, we have been lowering that as we have relied more and more on investment income to fund some of those unfunded expenses that we had, to the point that this year, for perhaps the first time ever, the askings of each church and apportionment dollars for the work of this board will be zero. I think, to put that in context, compared to 8 years ago, that's like giving back an average of nearly $3,000 per charge that you were paying in apportionments to help fund pensions and benefits. You may not also realize that over the past several years, the board, again from investment earnings, has been subsidizing the cost of healthcare. We know healthcare costs continue to go up and up and up because we get older and I don't know. They go up. We need to learn how to start getting younger, and maybe they'll go down. But healthcare costs go up. That's a reality of the world we live in. And yet those costs could be higher if not, again, for the diligence and the resourcefulness of this board. Just for some context, in 2023, this board gave a subsidy of $257,000 to underwrite some of the costs that churches and clergy would otherwise be paying. In 2024, over $806,000 subsidized through investment earnings by this board. This year, $346,000. For 2026, we have budgeted to subsidize by $383,000, again, to keep more money in the local church for the work of making disciples. Something we are introducing this year, or actually growing this year, is an increased incentive for churches in direct billing to shift to ACH bank draft if you have not done that already. For all churches that do their direct billing through bank draft to the annual conference, that discount will be increasing from $15 a month to $150 per month, or $1,800 a year. That is money. We want churches to be on bank drafts so you don't have to worry about writing a check every month, or checks getting lost in the mail, or someone forgetting to pay your pastor's health and insurance benefits, right? And for that, we are gifting churches $1,800 a year, again, money that you can use to fund ministry, to make disciples. Red is going to come up in a moment and share some more, but I want to remind you as I close my portion of the report that in our book of discipline, it says that the primary place where the work of making disciples happens is the local church. And I give thanks that as this board strives to serve those who serve and their families, that God continues to do that work through this group of disciples in ways that help keep resources in the local church, so that in that primary setting of disciple making, there are more resources to do that important work that Jesus Christ has entrusted to us all. And now I'm going to hand it over to Red as he shares more about the work of this board.
Thank you, Jonathan. And just want to say a big word of thanks to Jonathan as the board chair, but also to acknowledge all of our other board members who might be here today. If you are on the Board of Pensions and Health Benefits, if you would stand where you are and just be acknowledged for a minute so that maybe somebody near you can see you. But I see some standing back that way. I also just want to take a minute to say a big thank you to Stephanie Henry, who is the benefits specialist in the benefits office, as she has put up with having a new CBO and a new board chair and kind of showing us the ropes of how all this goes. So we are grateful to Stephanie every day. And so if y'all would give her a round of applause, she's probably checking people into the Blueprint for Wellness right now. And so we give thanks for her work today as well. As a follow-up to Jonathan's report, I'm going to share a few points from the written report and direct your attention there. One of the new things that we included in the board report this year is a report on direct bill arrearage. Given the forgiveness that this body executed last year, the generosity that was poured out, we wanted to continue to offer some information as follow-up as we move forward from that direct bill arrearage forgiveness from last year. And so that report is on page 59. It's the last portion of our report. Jonathan has highlighted the fact that of that forgiveness, the amount that was forgiven, I want to direct your attention to the current direct bill arrearages so that the annual conference is kept aware of how that continues to impact our work. So as of March 2025, that is 1 year after the direct bill arrearage forgiveness took effect, there were 29 churches who were in arrears on their direct billing for a total of $159,518.50. 20 of those 29 churches had direct bill arrearages forgiven by the annual conference in 2024, and the total amount of those 20 churches that they had forgiven in 2024 was $1,206,508.62. Of the 20 churches who had their direct bill arrearage forgiven and who have current direct bill arrearages, 5 have not paid anything toward their direct bill since the forgiveness was granted. Arrearages, we seek to help them, to try and work with them, to make them aware of the arrearage as it accrues, to be sure that pastors and church leaders know about the arrearage and have the information that they need as they contemplate how they might get out of this arrearage situation. We continue to provide that information as well to district superintendents as they need it, and try to be sure to bring as many churches as we can back into a paid status on all of their direct billing. Thus, the extra incentive to move to ACH. We want to continue to encourage churches to consider that. The next part of my report that I want to, of our report, the board report, as I report on it, that I want to direct your attention to is the group health insurance section, report number 6 on pages 55 to 58. This report reflects the increases in healthcare costs for this year. We do continue to subsidize the healthcare costs, but they do continue to rise and necessitate some increases that have to be passed on to local churches and to pastors. As you'll see in that report, the health fee, which is billed to churches with eligible clergy, is increasing to $1,250 a month or from $1,150 a month in the coming year. So that's an increase of $100 from 2025 to $100 a month from 2025 to 2026. Just a reminder that that health fee is billed regardless of the pastor's participation in the health plan. If the pastor is eligible for the health plan, the church has that health fee billed to it and is expected to pay it, even if the pastor has waived out of the health plan. The proposed monthly Health Flex participant rates for itinerant clergy and other participants in that category can be found in section 12 of this report, this section of the report. The increase in rates for participants ranges from 0% for those in the H5000 plans to 4% in several of the other plans. So the H5000 plan we were able to keep the premium rates to clergy the same as they are this year, but several of the other plans increased premium costs. Overall, the Health Flex premium cost to the annual conference increased by 5%. That is what we're billed from Health Flex is increasing by 5%. But again, through the subsidy that Jonathan has talked about, we are able to limit how much of that is passed on to churches and participants. Churches who adopt Health Flex for their lay employees and deacons will see their Health Flex rates increase by 5% in accordance with what we receive from Health Flex. Those rates are also subsidized by the board at 5% subsidy. Our next section that I want to direct you to is on page 49, the first page of our report, and this addresses the new Compass Plan. The new Compass Plan is the new mandatory plan for clergy retirement and is going to require changes to our direct billing to local churches. Details about the billing changes and estimated costs of the Compass Plan can be found in the Pensions and Health Benefits Report section, and it's report number 1, part B. For full-time eligible clergy, 7% of billable compensation and a $150 per month flat dollar contribution will be billed to the church as an employer contribution on the direct bill. The pastor's Compass contribution, the contribution that comes out of their gross compensation, what they want to put into the plan, will also be billed by the annual conference to the local church as a withholding amount, like the withholdings for the pastor's portion of the health plan premiums and any other health plan costs. This is a change to how we will collect the pastor's portion of their retirement plan that will begin on January 1st, 2026 as the Compass Plan comes into effect. So instead of Westpath billing for that pastor's portion, any pastor who is in the Compass Plan, the annual conference will begin billing for that, and you'll see that reflected on the direct billing statements that my office sends each month. The last part that I would highlight is that the final portion of your direct bill statement, the CPP welfare plan, won't see any change. It will continue to be billed at 3% of billable compensation. If you'd like to see more about the welfare plan, that report is on pages 58 and 59 of our report. And now I'm going to ask Jonathan to come back up as we conclude our time with you.
Thank you, Rhett. Bishop, I believe this concludes our report, and I would ask that the body approve the report that they have just heard.
All right, friends, due to an organizational motion that was made on Monday, we're going to take this report in its entirety. So we're going to do that. But if you have questions, let me see, microphone. Is that Joseph over there? Okay, come on to number 8. Now, and Kay, if you could help me look on this side, because I think yesterday I was more on this side. So help me make sure that I'm keeping it even.
I'm going to go stand over there because I can't see.
Okay. This number 8 side was a hot spot yesterday, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm seeing everybody. All right.
Radioactive. Joseph, good morning, Bishop. Joseph James, Trinity Sumter, Hartsville District. Jonathan, you and Red are wonderful. Thank you for your report. I think we're in good hands with you. I have a question regarding the supplement that most of us received this morning, report number 741. It's on page 4. I have a question. Page 4 of the supplement, and it's non-West Path accounts. I want to clarify a couple of things before I ask the question. The health insurance conference held and the pension funds conference held are monies that you control. Is that right? Those two? Okay.
Yes.
All right. The first one that is marked AC trustees held, unfunded pension, held by Merrill Lynch. Do you as a board have care, custody, and control of that fund?
We do not.
Have you asked nicely? Why not?
I have asked for clarification. We will gladly receive that money if and when that is dispersed.
Okay. I appreciate you putting it on your account, on your report, because I was looking for it in the report that trustees have, and I didn't see that designated. So it is helpful to think. I hope you get that funding sooner rather than later. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Joseph.
All right, thank you, Joseph, for realizing, because the other thing I need to help us understand is you get to ask one question. You don't get, while you're standing up, we don't want to get lost in a conversation around questions. So questions are good, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. All right, others? All right. I don't see any. Okay, are we ready to affirm this report as the organizational motion was made on Monday? We're going to affirm it in its entirety. If you would do so, if you would lift a hand. If you are opposed, same sign. All right, thank you. Well, you can introduce Tony, but I think everybody knows him around here. And Tony, forgive me for not knowing.
Bishop, that's okay.
Yeah, I see him everywhere, but
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with sometimes where I've been. But Bishop Fairley, members of the annual conference, it's a real joy to be back here in South Carolina. Roughly 5 years ago, I got in the car after the annual conference in Florence and began my journey down to Florida to work with them for a number of years. And I thought doing 2 annual conferences in 1 year was enough for me. God must have a sense of humor, because this is number 6 of 9 this year. Again, my name is Tony Prestipino, and I'm the director now of Plan Sponsor Relations at WestPath, which means I have the joy of running a team that really here is to serve you and serve all the other annual conferences across the denomination. South Carolina's got a special place in our heart at WestPath, mainly because a couple of my colleagues were just down here for the Summit on the Black Church, and that is a joy for them to come to every year. It's an event we really enjoy supporting. And also importantly, as Dr. Sally raised this morning, my colleagues on the investment side have found a wonderful partnership in sponsoring that golf tournament, and is another thing that folks at Westpath just really look forward to doing. For those of you that aren't familiar as much with what Westpath is, we are a general agency of the United Methodist Church, and our mission is really to care for those who serve. And we do that by providing health benefits, by providing retirement benefits, disability benefits. We also have a growing investment operation, mainly because of how much is involved in requiring the management of the retirement benefits on behalf of the denomination. My purpose here today is to really introduce the new retirement program that Rhett had made reference to. That's our mandatory retirement program for clergy. This was approved at the General Conference last year and will go into effect on 1/1/26. So we do have quite a bit of changes, and we're going to go through some of those, and I'll be available afterwards to answer any questions. But first off, if we see on the first slide, what doesn't change. So for any of you that are already retired, nothing changed. And I see plenty of my colleagues that I now recognize as retired. Congratulations. Impact to you all with the change to Compass on this plan. You have earned benefits in one of the iterations of one of the other mandatory programs for clergy. And you can see the acronyms that are up there. We call them hear that across the denomination. Those are just acronyms to the variations of the retirement program for clergy in the denomination. And what folks have earned in those benefits there's no change in what they've earned. They're just not going to earn any additional funds in the now active CRSP program once Compass goes live on January 1st, 26. Also, many of you are in the UMPIP program. That's our voluntary program for clergy that aren't in a mandatory program, and for lay employees across the denomination. Many of you participate in UMPIP, and if you're part-time or you're a lay employee that is in UMPIP, there's nothing that changes with that as well. So why did we go to Compass? And you'll see on the next slide just a couple icons as it relates to it. And really it came down to, we wanted to make sure that we continue to provide good benefits that are sustainable for the denomination. And as we looked across, and with so much of the impacts going on, our current arrangement is kind of an annuity type arrangement. We call them a defined benefit. And they're wonderful, they're really well funded. But long term, we just didn't think that was the best approach for the denomination going forward. And so we're moving to what we kind of refer to a defined contribution account. That's really what Compass is. But it does require more participation on part of the clergy, and it is a slightly reduced benefit if you compare it to the CRSP program. And so I want folks to recognize that. It's still a very good program, but it is a big change over what we currently offer. So the next thing I want to do is just kind of call up a video that's going to kind of explain the main provisions of this plan, and then I'm just going to highlight a couple of those those items in the rest of the presentation. So let's take a quick watch of that video.
United Methodist Church is launching a new retirement plan for U.S. clergy, Compass. If you're already retired or retiring in 2025, Compass won't change your benefits. For active clergy, benefits earned through earlier UMC plans remain. Starting January 1, new benefits will be earned through Compass. Compass gives UMC clergy greater flexibility to save for retirement while ensuring meaningful income for both current and future clergy, all in a way that remains affordable for annual conferences and local churches. Compass is a defined contribution or DC plan, unlike a pension or DB plan, where payments end after you or your spouse pass away. A DC plan like Compass is your personal account. It grows through investments and contributions, and any remaining balance can go to family, charity, or a beneficiary of your choice. Compass offers the same eligibility options as the plan it replaces. Saving for retirement is a shared responsibility. Both the UMC and clergy contribute to Compass. Clergy contribute a percentage of their compensation. The UMC makes 3 contributions: a flat dollar amount contribution, 3% of clergy's plan compensation, and a dollar-for-dollar match up to 4% of compensation. Contributing at least 4% is important for reaching financial goals for retirement. Plus, it maximizes the UMC match. Starting early is key for optimizing your retirement savings, just like the mustard seed parable. Small contributions grow over time. Contributing 4% may be easier than you realize. For example, 4% of a $60,000 salary is less than $50 per week. In fact, over 50% of clergy contribute 4% or more of their compensation. Compass has automatic features like auto escalation, which increases contributions annually. Compass has special features to help you save for retirement. If you're in a parsonage, your housing counts as part of your compensation. With Compass, the parsonage value increases from 25% to 35%. So the UMC's percentage-based contributions are based on higher overall compensation. That means more money from the UMC goes into your Compass account each month. If you have a housing allowance, Compass doesn't change how planned compensation is defined. And why should you choose between paying off student loans and saving for retirement? With Compass, qualified student loan payments will count toward earning the 4% matching UMC contribution. Many of us worry about outliving our savings. With the award-winning Life Stage Retirement Income Program, Compass helps ensure clergy have an income stream throughout their retirement lifetime. Life Stage Retirement Income is required for the UMC's Compass contributions. It's optional for your own Compass contributions and your CRSP DC account. Life Stage Retirement Income also includes optional helpful features. Social Security Bridge allows you to use your account balance early, so you can receive an increased monthly Social Security benefit by applying later. And Longevity Income Protection provides guaranteed annuity payments starting at age 80. Are you ready to chart your retirement direction? Start by contributing at least 4% to earn the full UMC match. Compass is coming January 1, 2026. Build your future without sacrificing your present. Start charting your course today.
So as you see on the slide, again, we refer to these as the UMC contributions, and this is really kind of what Rhett was speaking about here a minute ago in terms of what will be direct billed to the church. And so what you'll see up on the slide are, again, the main provisions of the program. Each clergy that's in this program that are full-time will receive $150 a month. That is indexed, and we will see that continue to grow over time, but at least when it launches in 2026, it'll be $150 amount. Plus, we have a percentage of compensation, and just as you heard in the video, when we calculate compensation at Westpath, we include a value for housing. That value is going to change for clergy that are in a parsonage from the current 25% to 35%. That should have no impact on taxes. This is purely for planned compensation purposes. But what will be billed to the local church, or what we would refer to as the UMC contribution, will be that 7%. What clergy need to do, though, is really make sure they're contributing to the retirement program as well. And this is something that I give thanks every day that Dave Anderson was so instrumental, especially when I started here, is making sure he was getting clergy well prepared for that, including myself personally, to contribute as much as you can. But Compass does, in order to get the full benefit, we need to get clergy to 4%. We've got some features to help do that. But you'll see that in here, and as Rhett mentioned, that will now be direct billed to the local church instead of funding directly to Westpath. So if we go to the next slide, you'll just kind of see again that 4%. And if we have clergy in the room that are unsure or not or a little concerned about how to get to that 4%, we do offer financial advising services at Westpath through our partnership with EY. They're a national firm that really kind of specializes in providing this. And I would encourage any clergy that are contributing or a participant in one of our programs to think about utilizing one of those services at one point. We do have some projection tools on the website as well, and if you can't get to 4%, whatever you can do to start off is key. The next slide will reiterate a couple of the planned features that are in this program. So again, that parsonage value for clergy that are in a parsonage is moving from 25% to 35%. The other thing is we do have what we call the student loan provision, and I know this provision sometimes does get a little bit confusing, and I'm going to have a slide here at the end that will take you to Westpath resources. There's a wonderful video on our website that talks about this, but really the intention on this is for clergy that are paying down student loan debt and are able to contribute money from their own salary to the retirement program, that this provision will allow for the match from the United Methodist Church contributions to go into the program if they can qualify to us if they're paying down student loan debt. It's a really good provision for those that need it, and I would encourage those that are interested about it to take a look at that. The other thing, and we have a couple things called automatic features, and this is really to make sure that people are as well prepared for retirement if they're not making active decisions for themselves. So it's called automatic enrollment and automatic escalation, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. We also have life stage investment management. This is really how the investments are managed in people's accounts. There are mandatory aspects of this in certain funding sources, primarily what's coming from the local church. But we find that 85% of our participants are already using these programs voluntarily. So there's some wonderful options there to do it. So the next slide, we'll just kind of go back into those automatic features a little bit. So come January 1st, 2026, for the clergy in the room, if you make no election, we will automatically enroll you at 4%. Now, the conference is going to be collecting on their charge conference salary compensation worksheets probably your election. But if for some reason you do nothing or you don't indicate to the conference what you want, we will enroll you automatically at 4%. Automatic escalation means that we will increase that percentage every year. And so you'll see that go into effect in 2027. And what that basically means is you'll increase by 1% if you don't make an election every year until you hit 10%. Now, you have the ability to always change that to nothing, to something less than 4%, or to contribute up to the IRS maximums. But for clergy that are in Compass, all of their personal contributions will be going into Compass going forward. So come January 1st, 26, you'll see on the next slide, if you're less than 4%, we're going to enroll you at 4% if we don't hear from you. If you're in UMPIP and contributing something that's at 4% or above that, and we don't hear from you, then we will move that UMPIP election over to Compass, and that's what we would expect coming into the program. So what do clergy need to do? So between now and the end of the year, you'll see on the next slide, is look at what you're contributing. You'll have another opportunity to do this as part of the compensation cycle, but take a look. That's information that the conference can give you. It's available for those of you that are in our accounts online to go on there and look and see. And I would encourage you to do that. If you're on our website, and I hope everybody takes the opportunity to do that at least once a year, to log into their account, please look at your beneficiaries, because that gives us very important information on what to do to your accounts if something happens to you. And that information is critical. It's something you want to make sure you're monitoring on a regular basis. We do have projection tools up there, as I mentioned, that will help you kind of understand how prepared you are for retirement. If you think you need a little bit more additional help, either to begin saving or to better plan for retirement, please reach out to one of our EY counselors. You'll find that that's a wonderful service. And finally, on the last slide is just a link with the QR code to our website. All of the information, this presentation, all the videos, there's a lot of FAQs up there. You have wonderful staff here in the South Carolina Annual Conference. They're available to answer questions. But sometimes people just like to look at this on their own time. And so I would encourage you to go there and take a look at it. I will be here for the rest of this annual conference. I'll primarily be spending the rest of the time in the vendor space. So please come find me if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to engage. And Bishop, once again, thank you so much for allowing some time in the presentation for this. It's an important change. And this has been the most exciting annual conference so far. So I really appreciate the invitation.
All right. That's a lot of technical but life-changing information that these three gentlemen have given to us, and we're grateful that somebody out there know what they're doing. And so that's very hopeful and very helpful to know. So we thank both of them, for all three of them, for their work today. Now, I got a feeling that we're about to have some fun. All right. So Connectional Ministries, Conference Connectional Ministries, are you ready for your report? Okay, it's and I say that because I saw these people with red shirts and they got something in their hand. All right, Miss Pamela and Millie.
Greetings, Bishop Fairley, Ms. Fairley, beloved members of the South Carolina Annual Conference and friends. My name is Pamela Goodwine Glover, and I serve as the convener of Conference Connectional Ministries.
Greetings. My name is Millie Nelson Smith, and I serve as the Director of Connection.
It is a joy and an honor to stand before you today on behalf of the Office of Connectional Ministries and the Council on Connectional Ministries. As we reflect over the past year, I'm filled with deep gratitude for the faithful ways you, our churches, and our teams have leaned into God's calling to love boldly, serve joyfully, and lead courageously. Through your support, we have been able to support local churches in creative ways that equip and connect us to make disciples by focusing on our 4 priorities.
The full Connectional Ministries report can be found on pages 60 through 91, which includes all related areas under Connectional Ministries. One of the brightest lights of this year has been the launch of our Connecting Children in Worship and Prayer grant, which made possible through the Lilly Endowment, has given us a great opportunity to do some children's ministry. This initiative is helping churches creatively and meaningfully engage children in intergenerational worship and discipleship. In just our first year, over 30 churches applied to participate, and 12 were selected for this year 1 cohort. 12 churches will be selected each year for the 5-year period. As a matter of fact, if your church desires to participate in this ministry, applications for cohort 2026 will open today during annual conference and close July 30. The information is on the conference website at umcsc.org. A children's leadership team has formed to guide and support this groundbreaking work under the leadership of Tony Taylor and Nona Woodall. If you are a part of the team that oversees this grant, would you please stand? Just remain standing. And if you are connected to one of the local churches in this year's cohort, would you stand as well? We give God praise for the new energy being poured into children's ministry across our connection. Several years ago, a resource called Follow Me was introduced to provide support to pastors and congregations as they did the important work of helping people to find their way on the path to discipleship. That journey continues as we seek to invite, equip, and support local churches as we empower them with practical tools and resources. So we invite you to join us for one of 4 tri-district workshops designed to help your church begin the process of creating a discipleship path for your congregation as you help persons follow Christ together along their discipleship journey. You should have gotten a card on your chair this morning that has information about that. So if you will check your chair, get those dates, and you'll see the locations and the dates of those workshops.
We also lift up the courageous work of our disaster response ministries. In the wake of Tropical Storm Debbie and the devastating Hurricane Helene, our churches responded immediately, providing food, shelter, and support to neighbors in need. With help from UMCOR and partnering conferences, we moved from relief to response and now to recovery, offering a powerful testimony of Christ's compassion in action. This vital work continues today, and we are grateful for the many hands and hearts involved. You will be hearing from LaTanya Dash, Ward Smith, and Shay Long as we seek to strengthen our disaster preparedness and engage volunteers for our recovery effort in the upstate.
Now let's take a moment to honor some of the faithful servants who are transitioning this year. Mrs. Doris Seals, who has retired after more than 17 years of service to Connectional Ministries. The Reverend Jim A. Rant and Mrs. Gail Korn, who have both served part-time in their retirement and now wish to do full-time retirement. And Reverend Suzanne Walker, who has served as a congregational specialist for 6 years and is returning to serve in the local church. We thank you all for the ways that you have equipped and supported the people of South Carolina in this annual conference. It is a testimony to your calling to ministry as laity and clergy and to your witness of the gospel of Jesus Christ. May God continue to bless you as you embark upon this next part of your journey. We thank God for these faithful servants.
And I would be remiss if I did not express our deep appreciation for our connectional ministry staff, who continue to serve with excellence, passion, and grace. From administering grants and funds that help support the ministry of our local churches, to training church leadership and ensuring that churches have all that they need to be prepared to make disciples. They are here to support the work of ministry that we all do in our local churches. If you are a member of the staff and are present and would like to, please stand so that we may thank you at this time.
And we can see them in the back in the red shirts.
Yeah.
Special shout out to Tammy, former Tammy has been so busy staying on top of the table out there, she and Betty Stoneman. Thank you. To our Council on Connectional Ministries, a remarkable team of lay and clergy leaders who have given tirelessly of their time and gifts. Thank you. If you are a council member in your conference or your district, would you please stand today so that we can recognize you as well? I see some folks didn't stand up. That's all right. Martin Quick, you didn't stand up. As we seek to find more innovative and creative ways to do ministry and clarify our missional priorities, we want to hear from you. As our schedule permits, we will have a question on the screen with a QR code for you to scan and participate in a conversation that helps us to identify what is most important to the UMCSC. And I heard that we've currently had about 71 responses, but we'd like to have more responses. We want your input so that you will have an investment in what the priorities of the South Carolina Conference of the United Methodist Church will be. This is our connection. We are congregations that are diverse, yet with one Lord, one faith, and one baptism. We are disciples and apostles of Jesus Christ on a journey together. How will they know us? You may have caught a glimpse of a billboard or two or three as you travel to conference. How will they know us? Dan O'Mara, our Director of Communications, and others are throwing out some stress balls, and I've been squeezing mine the whole time that I've been up here. It has been quite comforting. To remind us, how will they know us? By our...
Oh, Lord, y'all gave my wife one of them things. I hope she don't hit me.
Got your shirt?
No, I don't. You got it in the back? Okay. Here's something. He has a football game. Look at him.
Hey, y'all get some of those people on the front row. Y'all missing this front row. Y'all get some of these people on the front row.
Need some back there.
And how will they know us? By our love. That's not all. So today you will have an opportunity to go out near the registration table and pick up a t-shirt sometime today that says "By Our Love, South Carolina United Methodist." And this is a part of our connection. And if you will wear this shirt tomorrow, it will symbolize our connection as United Methodists. It will symbolize our connections at South Carolina Conference, but most of all, it will symbolize our connection under the blood of Jesus Christ and by the love of Jesus Christ. Amen?
All right.
And,
Yeah.
oh, and one more detail. These shirts are done by an organization that helps prisoners get back into life. And you will see on your shirt, it'll have a name. And when our youth went to Revolution, Revolution used this company as well. And our youth are praying for those people the people whose names are on this card. So pray for the person who made your shirt, who screen printed your shirt.
Friends, God is not finished with us yet. We move full speed ahead, trusting in God's promises, empowered by the Spirit and united in love. Thank you, and may God bless you. Bishop, we ask that our report be moved to record.
All right. If you would affirm this report, hold up your red ball.
You don't have to go ahead with it.
Okay. Anybody opposed? Thank you. Thank you both so much for the report. Let's give them a hand for such a wonderful report. All right, this is what we're going to do. You're doing well. We're going to give you a 10-minute break. So if you need to go, go. If you don't, talk to somebody standing up. 11:20, we're back.
Since 1992, Africa University has been a beacon of hope and catalyst for change in the world and in the church. Because of your generosity and faithfulness, we have planted deep roots in communities and across Africa, building a network of over 12,000 individuals who are serving, leading, and making an impact. For that, we say,
thank you.
Dalu.
Amasa ginalo.
Obrigada.
Twatotela. Asante sana.
Merci. Maitabasa.
Together, we are building a brighter future for Africa, for the church, and the world.
Yes, ma'am.
He's here. There's Meg Lassier this afternoon.
Meg Lassier, she wanted to meet you. This is our bishop. Nice to meet you. Yeah, how are you?
Good. Pleasure to see you. Glad you're here. We have the GBHEM video that was sent to us.
Okay.
We'll queue up before you speak.
Okay, so you'll play that and then it'll be on. Right. Thank you for giving us stage time.
No, worries. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
That's
First
what the
time in this
connection is
area.
about.
That is why we have the connection.
Yeah. Start back cleaning.
That's what makes us strong. All right.
Thank you.
I'll see you after lunch.
Thank you.
I'm just because we have said before. You text me what you said on those.
Yes, sir. Got a good old Baptist. Yes.
Second row, right beside Mike 3. On the left.
All right, friends, if you could come on back. All right, the Lord be with you. Now, I know that there are a bunch of people trying to get these red T-shirts. Yeah, I know there are a lot of people trying to get the red T-shirts. Oh, thank you, sir. All right. All right. All right, friends, if everybody can come back to your seat. Okay, and I think our secretary has a couple of announcements to make before we move to the report of the nominations.
A few announcements, friends. This evening, our last service of the day will be the memorial service. It's one of the more sacred services of our annual conference. If you or any of your family are participating in the memorial service today, that we ask that the families gather prior to the memorial service in Hall 1. There is a curtained area to the left as you enter Hall 1, and one of those curtained areas has a sign for family or pre-worship gathering, and it lists the memorial service. So if you are participating as a family member in the memorial service, right before that service begins, please gather in Hall 1. If you know individuals participating, please share that information with them. The head teller has also asked that every teller who is working the afternoon session today meet him in front of room 203. Those are the meeting rooms behind us, before you go to lunch. This afternoon, we will begin constitutional amendment voting, and he would like to give some instructions to you before we begin the afternoon session. So, tellers working this afternoon, please meet the Reverend Walter Strother in front of room 203 before you go to lunch. I've also been asked to ask anyone stepping up to a microphone on the floor to speak, any person giving a speech from the stage. Please look and speak directly into the microphones. As you turn your head away, or as you look down into your book, no one from the body can hear what you are saying. So please be mindful to speak directly into the microphone. Also, for the retirees, your per diem vouchers, if you have not gotten one offline or haven't already picked one up, they can be found at the registration table. These need to be completed and turned in to my office by June the 27th. And one last announcement is people continue to bring me rings. I would really like you to claim them before I have to explain to my wife this weekend why there are so many rings in my pocket.
Hey, that might be a chargeable offense. All right. Thank you so much. Hope you heard the announcements and will govern yourselves according to the announcements. We do have a word about the young lady who fell. I think the EMS has got her. Tell her you want to say a word about how where she is and how she's doing. And microphone number 2, I believe it is.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Bishop Fairley, and thank you all annual conference for your prayers. This morning, Helene Cargill from Trenholm Road, United Methodist Church, lay delegate, had a fall on the first floor on the way in, and we convinced her to be transported to the emergency room by EMS. Initially, she wanted her friend Kay to take her, but we convinced her that it would be best that she not have Kay take her. So we thank you all so much for your prayers. And she's been taken to St. Francis emergency room, not far from here off of Commonwealth Drive.
And thank you for being a pastor.
Yes, sir.
And staying with her. Thank you so much. At this time, we call on our team for conference nominations, if they would come forward. They gave a portion of their report yesterday, and today they're going to give us what that looks like for us to vote on. Thank you, team.
Good morning. We have received some corrections to our report that we submitted yesterday. Under the section 1 found on page 2 and 3, the trustees of the Wesley Commons, we need to add in some names. For the clergy class of 2033, Steve Keck, and under the laity class of 2033, Lee Blanton and Laurie Smith. Bishop, this is the report of the Committee on Nominations with the corrections that were made yesterday. Can you please put up the slide of the corrections that we added yesterday, the additions?
Excuse me, I heard a voice coming from somewhere. You were asking about the page.
That was on section 1, pages 2 and 3, trustees of the annual conference. This is a late correction.
All right. Any questions about this report? And you see that on the screen. All right. Are we ready to vote on this slate?
We are ready to vote with the exception of Council on Finance and Administration. We have 2 nominations for 1 vacancy.
Okay.
Other than that, all of the other reports are complete.
Okay, let's do that. Thank you.
So the report is for you for, okay? I will. Okay.
Just a minute, microphone 4.
Page 16, correction. Under the Committee on Episcopacy, Dorothy Harrison, Secretary, she resigned from the committee.
All right, if you could say your name, where you're from, pull the mic down and give us the name again. I'm not trying to call you short.
Thank you. Joethel Jeanette Cooper, Florence District, retired pastor, serving Elijah United Methodist Church, King Street.
All right. Correction you're making?
The correction is to remove Dorothy Harrison from the Committee on Episcopacy.
Okay, and if you could bring that up to the table, that'll be good. All right, thank you.
So the two names with nominations for the Council of Finance and Administration are Evelyn Fulmer and Joseph James. This report is found on section 1, page 13. Evelyn Fulmer and Joseph James. Both are being nominated for the class of 2028. Well, actually, yes. So Matthew Alexander, Evelyn Fulmer, and Joseph James. 3 names presented for 2 positions, 2 vacancies. 2 positions, but 3 names presented.
All right, friends, thank you. I think we're going to need to choose which 2.
Yes.
All right. Is there any way? So it's Evelyn.
To keep in accordance with the balance of male and female, we do need 1 female and 1 male.
Everybody got that? All 3 of those persons present in the room? One. All right, we're going to need to choose 2 of these. All right, and the names are before you. Okay, there's 3, so I'm hearing that we're going to need to have a written ballot. All right, Brother Terry, if you can go to microphone number 2. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bishop. Do we have a mechanism to suspend the rules so that we could receive all 3 of these individuals? All 3 of these are excellent nominees.
Yeah, I think there is a limit to them, but you can suspend the rules. But understand, if you suspend the rules for this, you're only suspending the rules for this one thing.
Yes, sir. That would be my intention.
Okay, and so are you making that?
Yes, sir. I would make the motion to suspend the specific rule to allow all 3 of these present nominees to be received to CFNA.
Could you tell me which number that is?
No, sir.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have my
pages fast and furious.
So, okay, you are suspending rule number 6. 60, oh Lord. Number 60. Okay, so you're suspending that rule. You're making a motion that we
Yes, sir. I'm requesting that we suspend that specific rule so that all 3 of these individuals can serve on CFNA within the same class.
Okay, and you already heard the second. All right, is there any discussion around suspending rule number 60? All right, and you're understanding you're suspending it so that we can elect all 3. Is that right, Brother Terry?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, if you will suspend rule number 60, lift your hand. Okay, anybody opposed? If you have, you have suspended rule number 60 for just this purpose. Oh, we got a yellow card? Who's up? Number 5? Okay. Microphone number 5. Remember, state your name and speaking to the mic. Thank you, Union.
I just have a question. When you were back on the trustees of Wesley Commons, I know that there are uh, requirements for people to be on board of trustees. So this may be a question. But I noticed under lay members last person listed moved membership back to the church. Join a denomination this church doesn't recognize a formal relationship. So is it appropriate for that person to remain on that committee?
And which committee is that again?
The trustees of Wesley Commons.
Okay, does Wesley Commons have a, this is a question. Thank you so much for your question. Let me confer with my folk up here. I'm going to be patient with me. I just need to understand about the bylaws. Okay, thank you for your patience. Okay, friends, this is determined with reading about this group, and it's determined by our bylaws. We don't have the bylaws in front of us. And so I would ask the annual conference to let us review the bylaws and see what it is. But it is determined by the bylaws. So we will need to get that bylaws and then report out to you what that is, okay? Everybody okay with that? We just want to make sure we make the right So, friends, here's what we're going to do. Hold on, brother. Let me see if I'm helping you out before you come back, okay? I'm going to email up to the bottom, please. You know, just hold on for a second.
Uh, I believe that we can act on the Committee on Nominations report while we investigate this and the bylaws after annual conference. If it turns out this person is not properly a member of the committee, they are automatically removed. Wesley Commons can work with the Committee on Nominations for an ad interim replacement, which this body will receive next year.
All right, thank you. So, we can do that. We can go on and move forward, as I understand it, with the report from the nominations just given, with the 3 persons that we have named on suspended and allowed us to elect 3 people, and then we'll take care of the matter. Thank you so much for helping us to understand. Thank you for bringing that up and helping us. All right. Any other questions? Okay, we're going to go on suspension. Already did it. Now we're back to the whole report with the 3 names on it. Are you ready to vote on it? Don't need you. So if you will receive this report, if you lift your hand, opposed, same sign. Okay, it's done. Thank you so much for your work. And thank you, annual conference, for your work. We've talked to GNTV about the speakers up here because it's still muddled, but they're trying to help us out. But when Kay told me it sounds muddled, I said, well, y'all in trouble because I can't have you here. You can hear. We in some trouble. And so thank you, GNTV, for working with us to try to get sound and everything the way we need. Thank you so much for your cooperation, for your leadership, being here with us now. Thank you. All right. All right, friends, what we have now is our report from our college and university. I think we have President from Wofford here with us. Come on up and share with us. We're grateful that you're here. Let's give him
Greetings, greetings, Bishop Fairley, and everyone gathered here today. As president of Wofford College, I am honored today to represent all of the distinctive and vital United Methodist affiliated colleges and universities in South Carolina. Higher education has always been a significant part of the United Methodist heritage. And to the church's great credit, providing educational opportunities has always been a visionary endeavor. The church's current support demonstrates this and sends a very clear message that our future as a society depends on the education of our citizens. Across the world, United Methodists support virtually every type of institution of higher learning. In South Carolina alone, the conference supports Claflin University, the state's oldest historically black university, founded in 1869 in Orangeburg. Claflin offers undergraduate, graduate, and continuing education programs. The conference also supports Columbia College, founded in 1854 in Columbia as a college for women that now has an enrollment of female and male students in undergraduate and graduate programs. Spartanburg Methodist College, founded as the Textile Industrial Institute in Spartanburg in 1911, and Wofford College, the nationally ranked residential liberal arts college, founded in 1854 in Spartanburg. While we all have different missions, visions, and goals, our Methodist heritage and the commitment to making educational opportunities affordable and accessible for all ties our four institutions together. In addition, the confluence of vigorous academic inquiry and spiritual development institution's legacy of producing visionary leaders who are both compassionate and intellectually prepared to engage in issues impacting the social fabric of our communities and our nation. While challenges face higher education, our colleges and universities still have much to celebrate. And in all cases, those celebrations have at their roots a reservoir of gratitude to the denomination that provides founding principles, spiritual guidance, scholarship through the Senior College Scholarship Fund, and strategic leadership in the form of board members, alumni, and United Methodist students. For example, Claflin University President Dr. Wayne Warmack has been recognized with the 2025 President's Award from the National Association of Student Personnel Administrators. The award recognizes his work to advance the quality of student life on campus. He was also selected as the Orangeburg Times and Democrat's 2024 Person of the Year. For the 14th consecutive year, Claflin has been ranked 7th nationally among private historically black colleges and universities, 12th among all HBCUs. Columbia College. Columbia College and the Midlands community came together in March to celebrate the grand opening of College Place, an historic landmark church that has been repurposed to serve as a home for the college's Division of Education and as a gathering hub for students, faculty, and local residents. The college was awarded a grant to expand access to teacher education programs in South Carolina, and it continues to seek partnerships, including one with the college system, to enhance the preparation and the transfer of students from technical and community colleges. Finally, Columbia College also launched a new women's events lacrosse program during the year. Spartanburg Methodist College has started a new online Bachelor of Arts in General Studies partnership with North Spartanburg, designed to re-engage and support students who did not finish their degree. With the addition of four-year degrees, SMC is now joining the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics and the Appalachian Athletic Conference to offer student athletes the opportunity to participate in intercollegiate athletics throughout their entire college career. At Wofford, we just celebrated the college's 171st commencement, honoring, among others, the Reverend John Wesley Culp with an honorary Doctor of Humanities degree founding the Salkehatchie Summer Service Program. This program that has made an impact on thousands of United Methodist high school and college students establishment in 1978. Wofford College continues to thrive with strong enrollment and stewardship of resources. Even in these tumultuous times, we continue to be a campus community committed to academic freedom and civil discourse consistent with the college's mission and core values. And we continue to provide a diverse array of thought leaders to challenge, engage, and inspire critical thinking and respectful debate. Each of our United Methodist colleges and universities has a different way of supporting campus ministry, but all have at their core engagement with the greater world through a lens of faith. For example, Wofford College offers an active Wesley Foundation and 13 other faith-based organizations through the college's Allegan Center for Religious and Spiritual Life. The Reverend Dr. Ron Robinson, Perkins Prothrow Chaplain and Professor of Religion, and other staff in the center mentor chaplain fellows, giving students the opportunity to spend time in vocational discernment while supporting interfaith initiatives that provide an open forum for discussion and community engagement among different religious and faith traditions. Claflin offers a young clergy initiative as well as regular chapel, Bible studies, community outreach, and ecumenical ministries. All of the United Methodist affiliated institutions in the state offer similar opportunities for their students, their faculty, and their staff. Collegiate ministry thrives on our campuses because of United Methodist support. As you, the South Carolina Conference United Methodist Church, have embraced Claflin, Columbia, Spartanburg Methodist, and Wofford. So have our institutions embraced what it means to be United Methodist affiliated colleges and universities. Just as you remain committed to our institutions and our students through prayer, advocacy, annual apportionments, we remain committed to the United Methodist principles of education, social justice, and service to humankind. United Methodist colleges encourage students to explore their faith and how it can be used to transform society. We support faith development in the Christian while being inclusive of other religious traditions or those who do not identify with a particular faith. It is because we seek a just community and academic integrity. South Carolina's distinctive colleges and universities are special places, and we welcome our partners from the United Methodist Church on our campuses anytime. Attend a conference or talk, view an art exhibition, enjoy an athletics event, visit a worship service, or bring a group of youth from your church for an admission tour. We all love admissions tours. I invite you to learn more about your South Carolina colleges and university, because you will be warmly welcomed with gratitude and love in the finest Methodist tradition. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. If you could stay right there for a minute, just stay with the podium because we're going to honor this president at Warford College. He will be stepping down, retiring at the end of this year, I believe. Next year, well, you got one more year. But we want to honor you and thank you for the good work you've done and continue to do at this school. Let's honor this president. Now, before we go to break for lunch, we're going to have a little friendly competition here. All of those who graduated from Warford, I think I'm standing there right if you stand. If you had any connection to this school, stand. All right, let's see who we got. Okay, all right. All right, if you have connections to Columbia, please stand. Raise your hand. And any connection to Spartanburg, any connection to Clafton, if you stand, yeah. Oh, look at them. Clafton wins, y'all. I think Clafton got y'all. All right. It's one of the best things we do is start when we started this movement. Schools, hospitals, camps, retirement centers, children's home. How soon we forget. All right. We're going to get ready to go to lunch and we're back at 2. I think, Mel, you have an announcement.
Another prayer request before we leave for lunch. The Reverend Michael Gerald, Rock Hill District, has been hospitalized with pneumonia awaiting further test. We ask that you keep him in your prayers.
All right. Let me see. Terry, if you bless our meal as we go and pray prayer request that Mel has just shared with us. Thank you.
Gracious God, we come to you thankful for the opportunity to gather here. Brothers and sisters, colleagues, friends, clergy, and lay, and you continue to bless. God, as we walk out these doors to go be refreshed for a few minutes, to get a bite to eat and to share with friends, we ask that you bless our time together and the food that will nourish our bodies. For our colleague now that has been hospitalized with all of the concern and the fear that comes with any hospitalization, we ask your blessings upon him, upon those individuals that will care for him, upon his family, and those that miss him and are so deeply and personally concerned. We ask for blessings in all of these. We give you thanks because we know that you hear our prayers and you will bless. Give us to you in Christ. Amen. Amen. I'll see you back at 2.